So, you're thinking about retiring to Vietnam, right? You've probably seen all the chatter online about a so-called retirement visa. But what's the real story? What do the official government sources actually say for 2026? All right, let's cut through the noise and get the definitive answer. This is probably the single biggest question for anyone dreaming of staying in Vietnam long-term without having to work. Does this thing actually exist? I mean, you see it everywhere, don't you? On forums, in blogs, Facebook groups. Everyone's asking. So, is there really an official visa just for retirees in the eyes of Vietnamese law? Well, to get to the bottom of this, we're not going to rely on rumors or hearsay. We are going straight to the source, Vietnam's Ministry of Public Security and the Immigration Department. And the official answer is a simple, straightforward, and very clear no. As of now, Vietnam does not have a specific visa category called a retirement visa. And look, this isn't just speculation. The official records are explicit. The legal framework as it stands right now in 2026 simply does not have a dedicated visa for people who just want to retire here. Okay, so if the retirement visa is a myth, how in the world are people managing to live here long term? Well, the law actually provides three main pathways that people commonly use. Let's break them down. This table really lays it all out. You've got three main options people use instead. First is the DL, or tourist visa, which is great for just checking things out. Then you have the DT, the investor visa, and finally the TT, which is for family connections. And as you can see, they're worlds apart, ranging from just 90 days all the way up to 10 years, with totally different perks, like getting a temporary residence card. All right, so the most common entry point for a lot of folks is the 90-day tourist visa, the DL, using that e-visa system. It's perfect for testing the waters, exploring the country. But it is definitely not a long-term solution. You have to leave Vietnam and come back when it expires, a little trip that many expats affectionately call a visa run. Now, if you're looking for a genuine long-term stay, the investor path is really the most direct route. But, and this is a big but, it's a serious commitment. We're talking about formally investing capital or starting a business here. The huge benefit, though, is that this is the path that lets you apply for a temporary residence card, or TRC, which can be good for up to 10 years and gets rid of those visa runs completely. Then you've got the family visa, the TT. This is another solid option, but the eligibility is super strict. You can only get this if you're the spouse or child of a Vietnamese citizen, or, and this is key, of a foreigner who already has a long-term visa, like an investor or a work permit holder. Okay, so no matter which of these paths you're considering, there are some absolutely non-negotiable legal rules that you have to follow to stay on the right side of the law. First and foremost, and this one is huge, the reason you're here must match your visa. The law is crystal clear on this. If you come in on a DL tourist visa, you cannot legally work or run a business. Your activities have to be about tourism, period. This next one is so important, and honestly, a lot of people miss it. Wherever you are staying, whether it's a hotel, an Airbnb, or a long-term apartment, your landlord is legally required to register your temporary address with the local police. You need to make sure this gets done. You also have to pay really close attention to your passport's expiration date because the rules are different depending on what you're applying for. For a standard visa, you just need it to be valid for 30 days past the visa's end date. But if you're going for that long-term temporary residence card, the bar is much higher. Your passport needs at least 13 months of validity left on it. And finally, just be aware that there are official reasons you could be denied entry or residency. We're talking about the obvious stuff, like using fake documents, but it also includes things like public health concerns, like an epidemic, or if you've been deported from Vietnam anytime in the last 3 years. So with all the conflicting info and rumors floating around online, where do you go to get the actual truth? Look, laws and regulations can and do change. That's why relying on some random forum post from 2 years ago is a terrible idea. The one and only place you should be getting your information is the official government portal, evisa.gov.vn. That's where you'll always find the most accurate, up-to-date rules. So there you have it. There's no simple retirement visa, but there are clear, legal pathways through investment or family ties. Knowing these official options, how does that change your approach to building a life here in Vietnam? It's a really important question to ask yourself before you start packing.